Purdy takes his perfect starting record into the NFC Divisional Round after San Francisco's 41-23 win over the Seahawks. Purdy finished with 332 yards and 4 total touchdowns in that blowout win, making him the first rookie quarterback with 4 total TDs in a postseason game. Now, Purdy's passer rating is 121.4 in 6 career starts, the best by any QB in any 6-game span all season. Now, next up for the Niners, a pretty familiar postseason rival, the Dallas Cowboys. This is the 9th meeting between these teams. The 49ers, if you remember, won over the Cowboys in last year's wild card round. Cowboys-Niners is tied for the most common playoff matchup in NFL history. Head coach Kyle Shanahan spoke to the media moments ago ahead of Sunday's game. Let's take a listen.
No, I think everyone's unique. I don't think that matters much. I mean, if you've been coordinating in the league for a while, whether you know someone personally or not, you got an idea of what game day is like with them just from film.
Has he evolved schematically since you worked with him?
I mean, I think Dan's done a great job just adjusting like he always does, and I mean, they've evolved a lot coverage-wise. I mean, they used to always do their 3 deep similar to ours, and now it's more of a match 3 deep, which is a little bit different, but coaching the front that same way and getting them to play and just mixing coverages a little bit differently.
On Debo's long run and just a lot of the big chunk plays in particular, Brandon Ayuk was leading the way with some of his blocks. What makes him such a good blocker at the receiver position?
I mean, I think it always helps when you have length and size, and I think he does have that. I think it's the mindset of all our guys, though. I think we do have a lot of good players. What I like to say separates us from other teams with good players is our good players really block too. Whichever one of our 5 guys has the ball, the other 4 are blocking as good as anyone, and Brandon does that as good as anyone, but I think all our guys do also.
Oh, you guys are obviously very effective with yards after the catch. How much do you consider that as you're making play calls? Are they designed not just to get a guy the ball, but to get him to a spot where he can maybe gain after?
Yeah, always. I mean, it depends on your personnel, what guys are better at. Depends on how people are playing you. I think we're pretty balanced from a personnel standpoint, that you got guys that are good at underneath stuff, guys that are good at over-the-top stuff, guys are good in zones, guys are good in man. So we do that schematically, and then teams play us a lot of different ways. So you kind of just let them pick their poison.
Kind of related question, how much, I mean, Christian's good in many ways, but how much does that sort of make him even better than most?
Anytime that you're a threat on zone checkdowns and you're a mismatch in man coverage, I mean, that's ideally what you want from all 3 of the positions who catch footballs: tight ends, receivers, running backs.
We've heard Nick talk about when you kind of dinged him at the defensive line before the Miami game, and huge performance from him. You've talked about like showing some of Trent's bad plays sometimes. Is that I mean, obviously some of it's pre-planned, but how much are you doing it pure motivation? How much of it is just kind of happens in the moment? How do you go about that kind of thing?
I think most of it just happens. I mean, it's I think maybe how you do it can sometimes be to get a reaction from people, but I mean, it's very simple with me because it all just goes off of what I see on tape, and I'm pretty consistent with that. You know, if I see something good or bad, I just start coaching, and so it depends who's in the room. Defensive guys aren't always in the room. I get that the most on Saturday nights. I get it on our team meetings on Wednesdays and Fridays. The offense gets it all the time, but I am pretty consistent with that. But when you don't get talked about much in front of the whole team, guys do. It's crazy. I mean, guys, you got a lot of grown men that they hear their name in a big room, and it's just they get real nervous. Which is crazy. You ask them to break down they talk nonstop, and then you ask them to break down the team one day, and it's just like crickets. So it's I think it's good practice for everybody to be in those situations.
Are you thinking when you said that at the D-line, I don't know if you said Bosa's name specifically, okay, now I'm going to light a fire under him? Is that kind of it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's also with everybody. It's human nature. I mean, we won a lot of games in a row and done some good things, and I think it's easy to look over things, but that's your goal isn't just to win those games. Your goal is to be the last team standing, and you got to get better each week at that. And sometimes human nature, when you've won so many games in a row, people stop looking at how to get better. They think they've arrived, and you need to show them on the tape, and you need to speak it, because players aren't always seeing it that way. They watch their assignment, what they're doing, but they don't always see the big picture, and it's our job to show them that what they need to do to carry out their job at the highest level. And I want every single person to play to the top of their ability, and nobody's perfect, so I'm always striving to get guys to play better.
Coach, you guys played on Saturday, they played Monday night. How much does that have an advantage as far as timing purposes, a little extra time for you guys to prepare? Don't have to travel, they have to travel, that kind of thing.
I mean, I think it can be an advantage. Sometimes it can be a disadvantage. So I know the obvious ones, that, you get less rest, less time to recover. I love having more time and stuff, but man, sometimes you feel like you can't play those Thursday night games, and you get to it and your team is just off the wall because they haven't slowed down at all. And by this time, I don't think it is about recovery. It's about detail, and it's about executing, and it's about playing at a high level. Once you get to games, especially in the playoffs, that recovery, people forget about pretty quickly. And just watching the Rams last year, they beat the Cardinals as good as anyone, and then they flew all the way to Tampa, and I think they were up 28-0 at halftime. So I don't think it means anything.
How big the challenge is defending Dak Prescott? It seems like he's had kind of an up and down season, but he looked really good the other night.
Yeah, Dak's always been a challenge. Dak is, when you're a pure pocket passer who can make all the throws in there and read the defense real well and get the ball to the right spots and do it accurately. That's why he's had the career he has. And when things do break down, he's got a knack for how to get out of that pocket and make some off-schedule plays. And that's why he's had such a successful career so far.
How would you assess Hufanga's season? He had some real flash plays early in the season, and got popularity going and wound up being Pro Bowl and all that. How do you think he's played throughout the course of the year?
I think he's had a hell of a year. That's why he's gotten everything he deserves. But just like that question with Nick earlier, like he's plays on the number one defense, has made a lot of plays for us. But in everything, we're challenging him to get better in things, and all those guys go up and down through some stuff. I thought he had a good game last week, but I still want to see his best football, and I think that's ahead of us.
And here's the schedule for the divisional round, starting off with the Jags and the Chiefs. We got 2 games on Saturday. That is followed by the Giants and the Eagles. Then on Sunday, the Bengals travel to Buffalo, while the Cowboys head west to take on the 49ers there. And of course, you can catch that Bills-Bengals game live on CBS, and all that action is streaming on Paramount+. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, Tracy Wolfson, they're going to be on the call for that CBS Bills-Bengals game. Again, that is on CBS at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.